So as a student, you should know one of the uh, open source testing tool. So in your syllabus, it is a Selenium open source testing tool is mentioned. So we'll go through that. So now come to your syllabus. So software testing introduction will discuss. So testing is a process of evaluating a system or its a component with the intent to find whether it satisfy the specified requirements or not. So we are testing a software. We are testing a software or its components. Or its component means modules. We are testing the complete software or its component means modules with the intent to find whether it satisfy the specified requirements or not. Specified requirement means one particular software is having a specific requirement. For example, for a reservations application, what are the features? Features like uh, we can book the number of seats, we can pay online, we can reserve the window seats. So there are different features. So we need to check whether the software it satisfies the specified requirements or not. So in simple words, testing is executing a system in order to identify any gaps, errors, or missing missing requirements in a contrary to actual requirements. So we do the testing to identify any gaps. Suppose if we not added uh, any features, or if there is any error. For example, one application it supports to only one device. So we need to check whether the particular application it supports to all the devices. So any errors or missing requirements, is there any requirements are missing in the application. So we need to do the testing all these. So we have to compare this with the actual requirements. So testing is executing a system in order to identify any gaps, any errors, or missing requirements in contrary to the actual requirements. So according to the IEEE 1059 standard, according to the 1059 standard, the testing can be defined as a process of analyzing the software item to detect the difference between the existing and required conditions. That is to find the defects, errors, bugs, and to evaluate the features of the software item. Analyzing the process of analyzing a software item or software modules to detect the difference between the existing and required conditions. You need to find the defects, bugs, or errors in a software. So, who does the testing? Who does the testing? So, I want to know from you. Uh, so, in the chat box, just can you mention who does the testing as per your knowledge. So, who does the testing? So, if anyone, you can unmute, or you can, okay, software tester, end users, yes, software tester also, he do the testing job, test the software application, end user also test the application, then who else, okay, developer also, Mayuri is saying developer also test the software. Sometimes means in unit testing means particular module testing, software developer test the particular module. So who does the testing? Software tester, developer, and also end users. They do the testing. Okay, it depends upon the process. So it depend upon the process. It depend upon the process and the associated stakeholders of the project. So in IT industry, the large companies have a team with the responsibility to evaluate the developed software in context of given requirements. So they evaluate, they check, they evaluate the developed software as per the requirements, as per the requirement. For example, 1 plus 1. So what is the result? 2. So this is your actual result. This is your the expected. 1 plus 1 means it should be 2. So your software, it should give the result as 2. The correct answer is 2. Suppose if your software is giving the answer, if your software is giving the answer as 3, then there is no match with expected and actual. So this is the actual. आपका software, the software is giving the result as 3, but expected how much? 2. So this is the expected. So it should match both actual and expected. The result should match. Then only we can say, so that is the testing process. Testing process. This is the 3. 3 means you are getting. 2 is the expected result. It should match. So it indicates your software is having a problem. Your software is not giving the correct result. So moreover, the developers also conduct a testing which is called unit testing. So unit testing, it is one of the level of testing. In most cases, the professionals are involved in testing a system with their respective capacities. So who does the testing? Testing is done by the software tester. Software tester will do, software developer, project lead or manager, and end users. So the different companies have different designations for the people who test the software on the basis of their experience and knowledge, such as software tester, software quality assurance engineer, quality assurance analyst. So these are the different designation: software tester, software quality assurance engineer, or quality analyst. These are different as per the company. As per the company, the different designations. So let me know when to start testing. When to start the testing. An early start. An early start to testing that reduces the cost and time to rework and produce the error-free software that is delivered to the client. So early start to the testing reduces. Testing reduces the cost and time to rework. See, in this COVID pandemic, uh, even though we are started the classes from the July 1st, and every year the regular semesters, they start in the July month in a different mode, in a classroom or in a online teaching. So instead of this online teaching, if we start in the August month, then there is a delay of 1 month, and for that you need to spend more time at the end. You need to spend more time to rework. Means, so instead of spending more time at the end, so we are using this online platform to conduct the lectures in the as per the schedule from the July 1st, so that it will go as usual the last semester how you are gone through from the first day of the semester. So it is not a hectic, because If you go through the same speed, then we can complete the syllabus in 2 or 3 months. So at the end, you will get the time for your preparation for examination, your preparation for the placement and all. So an early start to testing that reduces the cost and time. So in your case, for semester, time is very important. So cost and time to rework and produce the error-free software. So if you do the testing at the last moment, suppose you are delivering a software in a week and you have started to test the software, so you won't be able to do testing. You won't give the 100% dedication for the testing. So you may find the end users may blame for such a software. If suppose if they are getting any errors at the client side, or suppose if any features are not working, so the blame on the organization. So that will affect to the company's reputation. So an early start to testing that reduces the cost and time to rework and produces error-free software that is delivered to the client. However, in software development lifecycle, testing that can be started from the requirement gathering phase and continued till the deployment phase. So that is your V cycle. V cycle. Here it's a requirement, design, coding, testing.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
So with respect to that, you are having at the end of
Excuse me,
each
sir.
phase, you do the testing. So
Sir.
for coding this unit testing, unit testing, integration testing, system testing.
Sir, some students. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So, sir, students are trying to log in. They cannot get the access.
Okay. Let me check. Mm, so around 53 students are there. So tell them to join now because it's auto admit. So when you click on that link, automatically you will log in. So no need to admit separately. So who is facing Prakshal? Who is the facing that problem?
Sir, Purab, Shubham Mitkari, many are facing. Praful.
So just tell them to click on that link and automatically they
Yeah.
will log in.
Sir, they tried. They are saying that they do not get the access.
Mm, Purav, he already joined and hmm, he was there in the session. So 8 times he done login logout problem. Mitkari, Mitkari also joined. I don't think you have any problem.
So they just WhatsApp me.
Mm,
They cannot get like this.
Shubham. Okay, you tell them to just try. Hmm? Okay. So
Okay, sir.
Okay, so it also depends. Suppose if you are having any problem, so you can inform me in the middle, because my PPT is in this the full screen mode, so I can't see the charts. So if you have any problem, so in the middle you can interrupt. So testing. So testing, it also depends on the development model that is being used. For example, in the waterfall model, the formal testing is conducted in the testing phase. So it depends upon the model, because in the waterfall model, the it is like a water flow. So like first requirement analysis, then the second model is design, coding, and the testing, and the deployment or maintenance. So, so this phase, the testing, whenever this testing come, then only we do the testing. So that is the drawback of one of the drawback of waterfall model. Okay, so maybe it is some technical problem, because few students, you can log in automatically. So maybe it is okay. Okay, maybe the problem is from the student side, because it is auto submit, auto admit. So I have to send it again, but showing the same thing. Okay, so if you face such type of problem, what do you do? Just try to clear your browser history and all. Suppose if you are attending the session from the mobile phone. Okay, even as I am recording the session, so I'll provide this recorded session at the end of the lecture. Uh, so in waterfall model, we do the testing at the one particular phase. So that is the one of the drawback of waterfall model. But in the incremental model, testing is performed at the end of every increment or iteration, and the whole application is tested at the end. So at every increment, as you know, so this is a one increment in the, we'll do the requirement analysis, designing, coding, testing, and maintenance. So this is the one iteration. Second iteration also the same steps. So for a particular small feature, we'll go for one iteration. So in iteration model, so we'll do the testing in each iteration. So this is the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. So it is depend upon the model up to n iterations. N iterations. Testing is done in different forms at every phase of the SDLC. So during the requirement gathering phase, the analysis and verification of the requirements are also considered as testing. During the analysis and verification of the requirement, we do some verification. We do the some verification of the like verification of requirements. We cross check. So this is also one of the type of testing. Reviewing the design, reviewing the design in the design phase with the intent to improve the design is also considered as testing. So once the requirement is completed, requirement of the project, so we go for the design and we review the design. We review the architecture. We review the different functionalities in the design. So that is also considered as one of the testing process. So testing is performed by the developer on completion of the code is also categorized as the testing. Testing is performed by the developer on completion of the code. Once the code is written and if the developer is doing the testing, so that is also considered as a testing. So there are three like in requirement phase also we do the testing, like verification and validation of the requirements, verification and validation of the requirements, then verification and validation. This is the in requirement phase. Similar to in a design, we do the review of designs, review of design, and in the testing phase, sorry, in coding also at the after writing the code, we'll do the checking the code. So that is also one of the type of testing. So in each phase, we can do the testing. We can do the testing. So when to stop the testing? When to stop testing? So you know when to start. When to start means it is depend upon the model, and also we can do the testing at each phase. So when to stop testing? It is difficult to determine when to stop testing as testing is a never-ending process. As a never-ending process, and no one can claim that a software is 100% tested, and no one claim that your software is 100% tested. Okay, it is very difficult to cover all the tests, and there is no such software that it is we can't say your test your software is 100% error free. 100% error free we can't say. The following aspects are to be considered for stopping the testing process: testing deadlines, completion of testing deadlines. We need to follow the schedule. Then completion of test case executions, completion of functional and code coverage to certain point, bug rate falls below a certain level, and no higher priority bugs are identified. So if the bug rates they falls below the certain level, means if you are finding the bugs at very low rate, very few bugs are present, and there are no higher priority bugs are identified. So in such case, we can stop the testing, and also depend upon the management decisions. If suppose if the management, if the organization is not spending more time, more effort, and more cost on the testing, so it's a management decision when to stop the testing. So it's very difficult. So this is the end of the testing process. It is very difficult, but we at some decision we have to take, as per the testing deadlines or completion of the test case executions. Suppose all the test cases of that particular software is completed. If all the test cases are executed, or all the test cases are covered, then we can complete the we can stop the testing process. And completion of functional and code coverage to a certain point, bug rate falls below a certain level, means if we are not getting more number of bugs, then also we can stop. But for each decision, there should be, it is based upon some parameters, and also the management decision. So yesterday we discussed verification and validation. So it is very important in software testing, verification and validation. So these two terms are very confusing for most of the people, and we use them interchangeably. The following table that highlights the difference between the verification and validation. So what actually the verification and validation? So verification that addresses the concern, are you building it right? Are you building it right? Right means, are you building the whatever the features that you are considered or not? Are you building it right, right way, right path? Are you building it right? Validation, it indicates, are you building the right thing, right product? Validation, are you building the right product? Okay. Verification that address the concern, are you building it right, in the right way, right path? Are you considered the right features? So verification that ensures that the software system meets all the functionality, software system that meets all the functionality, and validation ensures that functionalities meet the intended behavior. It should meet the intended behavior of that particular software. Verification means that we're checking the functionality. We are checking whether it meets all the functionality. Verification also takes place first and includes the checking for documentation and code. Verification that takes place first and includes the checking for documentation and code. So validation occurs after the verification and mainly involves the checking of the overall product. Overall, we are validating the overall product. Verification is done by the developers. Validation is done by the testers. It's very important. The verification, that testing process, it is done by the developers. Verification is done by the developers, and validation is done by the testers. Validation is done by the testers. So it has a static activities, as it includes the collecting reviews, walkthrough. Verification means what? Collecting the reviews, walkthroughs, inspections to verify the software. So review. So just now we faced some of the login issues with the students, and we reviewed what is the problem. So review, walkthrough, I checked. So again, still the students are facing the problem. So this is the one way of inspection or review, walkthrough, Okay, so it has a static activity that includes the collecting the reviews. So there may be some problem, technical problem from the student side or from teacher's account. So checking. So this is a one type of verification process. Validation is a dynamic activities as it includes executing the software requirement against the requirements. So before continuing with the session, so I want to take a feedback. So there is a one Mentimeter. So there is one Mentimeter uh, feedback platform is there, Mentimeter. So will so what you do is as a student, you go through the menti.com. Am I audible? Yes, say anyone. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, suppose if you are using laptop, you just go through the new tab and click the menti.com, or in the mobile phone just go to the next tab and menti.com, and I will share one code that is 578634. 578634. You use this code menti.com and log in with the this particular code 5786. Okay, few students are logging. Menti.com, and what is the code? Go to the menti.com and use the code 578634. So now the people changing the answers. Who does the testing? Who does the testing? Who does the testing? So I think you have 30 seconds time, I think, to give the test. So yeah, still the students are giving the, so it is a Mentimeter means
Sir, can you repeat the code?
it is visible 578634. 578634. 6 digits. Who does the testing? I think as a student you will get menti.com. Okay, I will log in as a student. Menti.com. Menti.com 587634. Okay. 5876. Okay, maybe time up. So for this question, who does the testing? So I am using this Mentimeter first time. Uh, who does the testing? So the correct answer is all of the above. The testing is done by software tester, developers, and end users. So all the three people they can do the testing. Then next question: when to start testing? When to start testing? So you are required to type. You are required to type the answer. When to start testing? So you are required to. I think you are required to type. when to start testing? Yes, when the software is ready. When the software is ready, you start as early as possible. Yes, at early stage. Okay, at early at when software is ready at as early as. So those who are using, just to try to give your answer when development is done as soon as possible. Okay, so when software is ready in SDFC in SDLC life cycle. Okay, we are getting the different answers. Requirement gathering phase, after developing, after at early, when the software is ready. I think only few students are around 20 students. So here I can see 22 students. Okay, 23 students they are using after completion of development, after developing at each phase in the SDLC. So when to start the testing? So it is at the early stage, at as early as possible. We need to start the testing. We need to start the testing to save the cost and effort time. So this is the how to take the feedback the to take the feedback from the students. We use the Mentimeter. So in the free version, I think we can add only 2 questions. So okay. Okay, suppose if you have any questions, just you can mention in the chat. So I think the next lecture the Bhushan sir will take. He will take at 11:50. So sir will communicate through the WhatsApp group. And if you have any question, just mention it in the chat. If you, otherwise, we will end the session. Yes.
सर भूषण सर जो लेक्चर दे रहे हैं वो सबको अटेंड करना है या जिन्होंने डेटा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड कंप्यूटिंग चूज किया उनको ही अटेंड करना है?
I think only for DC.
ओके सर, ओके।
Parallelly, I think for elective, maybe still they are collecting the, I think, elective subject from students. I think many of you are not provided the details.